Hi, this is Matthew from the 5steps.org website. Just want to give you an overview here of all the things that are on this website. So you just have one video that can give you a little piece of each of these different videos we have and explanations that we have about what's going on. So it's to make it simpler in case you just want to look at one video and get the general idea about what we're doing here. And what we're doing here, by the way, it's a humanitarian project, and it has to do with helping people that are in chronic poverty and helping them to get out of that within a year completely, and they would no longer need any outside help, no more than anyone else would need. Um, we're seeing a problem with the chronic poverty that doesn't get cured. It doesn't get helped. And it just keeps looking for donations, and this is no way for anybody to exist. So we have a project to solve that problem, and it's ongoing. It's going right now. The first part of this introduction, I'm going to tell you about the reason why. And this is the reason why I'm involved in this project. What has really touched me through the years. The second part is about the cause. What's going on with these people here? Who's the team that's been helping, that will be helping? A little bit about the town, Zero. A little bit about the Soft Hearted Uganda Foundation, which has been run by a man named Mr. Benson for the last 10 years. The next part, our big plans, the big picture, what we hope to achieve. And then the next part would be why we're different, because a lot of people, a lot of organizations are doing a lot of really great things around the world. Our project is a little bit unique. It's quite unique. And so it's different. We hope that we can achieve some things that haven't been achieved in the past. It's all good. All the help is good. But we have our own little niche that we're focusing on. And we think it's special and we think it's good. ECC, the Everybody Community Center, and the Everybody Community Organization. This is what we're calling our community center there. And it has a whole infrastructure and a whole software that helps to manage people that work together, people that get along together, people that are working on projects. It's community management software. And it also will host advertising from businesses because it'll be so frequently visited online that people can advertise there and get people to know about their products or their services, their restaurant, whatever it is. So that's an integral part because it's supposed to bring people together, connect people. So the Everybody Community Project connects people and it manages communities. And ECC, Everybody Community Center, this is a physical place that people can go to 24/7 to get help, to volunteer, to work together, to have fun, to meet together, to work on projects. So the community center we feel is vital. So we get into more details about that. The 5 steps philosophy. So there are 5 steps to saving the world. Now it's quite simplified when we look at it that way, but it's true. And it helps us to see that we can really change the world, make the world a better place without some elaborate changes, without overdoing it. Next, overview of sustainable. What does it mean to be sustainable? What does it mean to have someone be self-sufficient, independent? And how does our community center, how does our project help with that? And then finally, what we're working on right now, there are 6 phases to our project that will take place within a year. And each of these phases will involve empowering the community more and more from a different aspect. So we have that planned out and we have the finances figured out as closely as we can because there's always things that we can't predict. So that's a quick overview of what you're going to be seeing here. And I hope you enjoy it. And I hope I've designed it so that it's easy to understand and easy to take a look at. Okay, how do I participate? Thanks. Part of the introduction now, I want to talk about one of the things that one of the videos here is something that's really important to me. It's a life-changing thing for me. And it's a very soft spot in my heart. It touches. You can see the picture of the little girl here. She's from Yemen. We know there's incredible tragedies going on in Yemen, and a lot of that has to do with military displacement of people immigrating. They leave their home maybe just to save their lives in the middle of the night, and they end up in another place. They have no food, they have no money, they have nothing, maybe just the clothes on their back, and cities shut down, countries shut down. Yemen's a total disaster, at least parts of Yemen are. And this little girl, the reason she looks like that, the reason her upper arms look so thin, is because she's malnourished. She hasn't been getting the nutrition that she needs, and it could very well be that even if we were to feed her perfect food starting this moment, she may never recover completely. Her growth might be stunted. Her internal organs might not be completely functioning properly. But I thought she looked like such a pretty little girl, and such a possibly wonderful life, like all of us deserve, right? We all have the desire to have a wonderful life. And looking at the things that people have, looking at the freedoms that I've had and the resources that I've had, the help I've had, or the things, the jobs I've been able to get, things I've been able to buy for myself, and you compare the way this little girl is growing up, what she's being subjected to. She probably doesn't know any better. I don't even know if she's ever seen TV. I don't know if she knows what the lives of the rich and famous are like, or the lives of the middle class in America. Maybe she doesn't really know what it's like to have clean water anytime she wants, to be able to go to the fridge and make a sandwich, or grab an apple off the table, or an orange. I want to help her. And I don't even know if she's still around, but I want to help. If I can't help her, if I'm too late, I want to help children like her. Because 15,000 children die every day. So that's the reason why, that's what motivates me. And I just wanted to share that. Thanks. Some of us have a bit of a hard life. Look at this young lady here. She can't decide which of these $3,000 handbags she's going to take home. Well, as it turns out, she took home both of them. And that's a challenge for the day. But some people are just completely overjoyed when they just can have a cold soda, because maybe that opportunity doesn't come along. Some people have some great bathrooms at school, nice and clean, beautiful colors, well maintained, running. Wait a second, this is the bathroom. Some people have no running water, not even a roof to protect you from the rain. Now this picture is a little bit hard to look at, but this is what a lot of people have to live with. The sanitation can be terrible at times. Here's a classroom. It's a nice classroom. Multimedia classroom. Got it. Here's a classroom that's not multimedia, the way some have to study. Sometimes the rain hits the roof so hard that we can't even hear it, hear the teacher speaking. And that chalkboard, it's hardly usable, isn't it? Needs to be replaced. So the problem is, some of us don't have the chance at a good education just because we're missing some of the very, very basics. We get love from those around us, those that care, those can take care of us. What about water? This is the water that I had when I was in school, filtered, clean, safe, cool. This is the water they have to deal with. It's not clean, and it's not very easy to get. Sometimes you have to walk kilometers just to get to that dirty water that has some parasites in it. It's not filtered. So some people, they get sick as a result. Some people, they have some health problems as a result. Some of the students or some of the faculty have some very, very modest quarters within which to sleep. They have very, very modest foods that are available to them to eat. This is one of the homes that some of the people live in. Doesn't really look much like a home, does it? It looks abandoned, but people actually live there, and there's no roof. The rain comes right down on their heads. So, would you like to live in a house like this? I sure wouldn't. Not if I had a choice.
Hi everyone, my name is Mobangizi Benson, the CEO and the founder of Soft Hearted Uganda School and Orphanage. Uh, this organization started 10 years ago to uplift the standards of living for the people in our community. Um, Today, I'm coming here to talk about the new project that is soon starting in the next few weeks. The project with the Five Steps organization, and this is a new program that has been designed to transform thousands of people in our community zero. This project is designed to create a sustainable and a self-sufficient community center. Remember, this project will not provide free resources. It's about people, it's about helping people to create their own resources like clean water, food, creating shelters for the orphans, education, among others. We can only reach there, we can only start this project with your support. We just call upon your donations so that we can give a community a better life. Thank you very much.
There's some big plans, some big dreams, and I'll show you the big picture. One of the big plans is just having people work together in community, creating healthy communities, people cooperating together that maybe otherwise wouldn't if they didn't have a sense of community, if they didn't have leadership of the community. Getting more back to nature and working together. What about the small cities? We could start out in the village. We're starting out in zero, but then we hope to expand. Smaller cities, building stronger communities there, building stronger communities in big cities. If that can be possible, that's part of the dream. And then the big picture, not so much focusing on money, playing with money, lifestyles of the rich and famous and the privileged. That's been calling the shots in the world, hasn't it? But we hope that helping people have a community center will help people to work together. Hi, this next section has to do with why we're different. I'm going to go over it quickly, just explaining the basic terms. It's kind of in an ad hoc order. So basically, what I want to let you know is the main key points about why this project, the Five Steps um, program that we're doing in Zero, Uganda, is different than so many different projects that you've heard of. They all have their vital, necessary place. So we don't want to say, oh, one is better than the other. That's not our job. Maybe some are, but that's not our job to do that. But what we want to do is we want to do something that we feel is the most effective thing that we can do. Now, a lot of it is based upon this principle of, give a man a fish, feed him for a day, teach a man to fish, feed him for a lifetime. But the truth is, what if he doesn't have a boat? What if he doesn't know where the fish are? What if he has no way to get to the fish, or what if the seasons? I mean, there's a million other things that the man may need, and the key difference there is nurturing. The key difference there is you don't just send the guy to a fishing class and then walk away. That's not what helping somebody is about, and that's not what parenting is about. And there are a lot of parallels between helping people have a better life and parenting. Of course, we're all kids inside, we're all parents inside. So it's not about somebody being superior or someone having authority. It's more about nurturing. It's the nurturing aspect of parenting. One of the reasons that we're different, this is a 1 year project. So we might go over a few days or a month or two, something like that, or it might be much less than that in order to achieve our goals. But we're focusing on a 1 year project. So this isn't a constant handout situation. This isn't a constant take care of the needy situation, because what we want to do is we want to empower people to the point to where they're not needy anymore. So we don't believe in handouts. We believe in giving people an opportunity. Now, what your parents did, when they gave you a bed, they gave you a place to sleep. When you're first born, you had a crib. Is that a handout? No. It's a given that this is a contribution to help this human being to grow and learn and be able to stand on their own. Some people aren't given cribs. We're about transforming a community, about transforming a culture. Because what can happen is, if there's chronic poverty, people resort to all kinds of things just to survive. Any one of us could become a criminal just because we haven't been able to find a way to survive. We're in an environment, we don't get any help from anybody, we have no mentoring, we have nobody who gives us a job or gives us an opportunity to progress. So people become desperate, and any one of us in a desperate situation can resort to extreme measures just to survive, especially if we've got kids to take care of. It's classic examples of people that steal a loaf of bread. They go to jail for 10 years just trying to feed their family. Something upside down about this world, isn't there? So we're about transforming a culture, transforming a neighborhood, transforming an environment so that people have a place they can go with this community center. That's vital. That's really vital, to have a physical place people can go and they can say, look, we're out of food. Look, my daughter's had a fever for 7 days. We can't afford the hospital. What can we do? How can you help us? It's vital that there's a central place that people can get together. Online, sometimes it's all we can do, sometimes just for starters. But really, people need a physical place. You can't raise a child online, can you? Online schooling has its limits. So we need to re-engineer things, and we need to make it so that people have a place they can physically go. And that's what the Everybody Community Center in Ziru, Uganda is about. It's a physical place. It's a community center, and that's vital. So it's a place for nurturing. It's also a place for accountability, you know. This isn't about just, oh, come and take anything you want anytime with no accountability. No, you check in. You contribute. You work in the greenhouse. You work on the chicken farm. You know, you help out here, you help out there. You do what you can. Now, there are some people that are completely unable to help. Maybe they're in a wheelchair. Maybe they're really old, or maybe they have some limitations about what they can contribute. Okay, that's fine. That's such a small percentage of people, and we take care of them. And we don't expect anything more from someone than what they can physically do. But if you want to keep taking and want to keep taking, that's not allowed. People are accountable, and there's a record of how much you've taken and how much you've given. And this is the way it should work in any functional family, in any functional community. There's coaching. So part of this changing the culture, re-engineering a society, building community, part of that has to do with helping people understand this is the new world. This is different. This is not what you're used to. This is a different kind of a thing, how this community center functions, and how you can really benefit from the community center, and how you can help others here. And there's coaching around that. There's explaining. We sit down and we talk. We understand. We have seminars. We have lessons, classes, to help people really get the idea that this is something you've probably never seen before. We also have recreation. It builds trust. It builds camaraderie. It builds friendships. You know, basketball, ping pong ball, you know, whatever sports we can put together. That's also a vital part of the community center. Entertainment, where we can show a movie, have a movie night, have a dance, you know, have times we can get together and just play and have fun. Performances. Who's got a good singing voice? Contests. Uh, who can throw the ball through the hoop? Things like that. Recreation and fun. And it's a structure. So we're providing a structure. The community center is a structure around which we can build trust, we can build cooperation, we can have communication. Communication is vital. People need to be able to communicate, ask for help, get answers to questions, get problems resolved. This all happens through communication. You won't find a single entity that's successful that doesn't have a kind of a communication system. And we provide that. And that's part of the deal. We provide jobs for people, or at least if we don't have enough jobs for people, because we're a small community center serving thousands, we make connections with people in the business world. Oh, you've got a motorcycle shop, you need somebody to come and they can learn for free and they can help you for free. And then this person is a qualified motorcycle mechanic. And that could be for 1,000 different occupations. So the idea is to empower people, nurture people, empower, not exploit, not take advantage of, but empower people so that they don't need us, but will always enjoy having a community where we can contribute, where from time to time we need help. And that's an important part of the whole formula here. And that's so much a key part of why we're different. The community center and the services that it offers within a limited time to help people get on their feet, and then it can be self-sustaining, independent, and powerful. You empower people, you empower a village, you empower communities, you empower a city, you can empower a state or a country. Step by step, doesn't happen overnight, but this is the only way it can work.
I don't need a handout, I just need a chance like you had.
I don't need a handout, I just need a chance like you had. I don't need a handout, I just need a chance like you had.
I don't need a handout, I just need a chance like you had. I don't need a handout, I just need a chance like you had. Thank you.
Okay, this next part is about the everybody community and the concept around that. There are two different entities here, but really they're the same thing. There's everybody.org. That's the online community where all kinds of communication and interaction takes place. And then there's the Everybody Community Center. That is a physical place where people can go. People can go there and they can meet together, they can collaborate, they can work together, but also there's online collaboration through the website everybody.org. People can do e-commerce there. They can go and check in, they can help out, volunteer, or they can go there and get help for things that they need from the community. There's also a large e-commerce part where people that are not even part of the community, even small businesses selling vegetables on the side of the road, they can advertise their business and they can communicate with their customers that way. You learn life skills at the physical community center and online. You learn how to get along with each other. This is a major thing. We always need to learn how to get along better, cooperate better with each other. You can find a job. You can get a job from the community center, both online, but also you can walk into the community center, get help to find a job, get help to learn how to grow your money and save money, and also how to manage money, because this is such an important part of survival, such an important part of life. But you can also actualize, find out who you are, get a sense of self, get self-esteem, self-confidence, know who you are, who you are in this world, how you belong in this world, because you have a team backing you up. You have friends at the community center. They'll help you out. We're all here to help each other, to cooperate together. It's like our own family. where our own family either doesn't exist or doesn't play that role in our lives. And we're centered around the concept of love. So, for the community center to function properly, it needs to have a foundation philosophy. And that philosophy is based upon the idea of love, compassion for each other, understanding each other, respect, kindness. These are all the qualities of love. And these help us to understand how we can behave in the world, how we can behave regarding each other, regarding emotions that come up, and regarding conflicts that come up, and regarding how can we empower each other and how can we empower ourselves. It's not about putting each other down. It's not about bullying. It's not about unhealthy competition, but it's about thriving in this world. That's what the community center is about. It has two parts. It has the online part, and it also has the physical community center. Okay, let's talk about the 5 steps. We'll just go over these briefly. Here's step 1. Step 1, we say, where are we now? So let's take a look at where we are right now. See the young lady on the left? She went shopping, she bought a few handbags. She lives in Beverly Hills, and she has everything that she wants, and her mother just gives her everything that she wants. What about the young lady on the right, the little girl that's in the bucket? I call her the bucket girl. You're probably familiar with her by now. She's in that situation. She's living like that. So what's happening here? We have some people that have extremely easy lives that don't think about anybody else in the world. And then we have people that are totally neglected, abandoned by society, abandoned by humanity, and they're dying literally to the tune of 15,000 a day. So of everything we look at, of all the things that we can get frustrated about, oh, our football team lost, the playoffs, or, I can't afford to get my Mercedes until next year because I need to save money, or all the possible problems that can come up. We're looking at a life or death situation here, and we're looking at an extremely easy, solvable thing. We're looking at just giving a little bit of attention, a little bit of love, a little bit of concern to some people that are literally dying from our neglect. So that's the situation that's happening right now. That's the situation we're in. That's step 1. Step 1 is being aware of the situation we're in. What's step 2? How did we get here? So if most of us really understand how we got here, then it can help us with step 2. Step 2 being, we got here because of money. We live in a money-centered world. Power-centered, yes. Money-centered especially. So money rules the day. And we need to understand that having money be the center of everything, it really creates an upside-down situation. For example, we think about money when it comes to everything, don't we? We rarely think about how can we help each other, how can we be compassionate, how can we be respectful, how can we be kind. We're on our way to work, we're late for work, we don't want to lose our job, we've got a lot of things to do. So there's road rage. We're in a bad mood because we lost money, but now money anymore, especially when it comes to the digital currencies, money is just numbers in a computer. It's not tangible. You can't even, you're not even touching bills. And the bills were just paper and coins anyway. So money isn't real. But making lunch for somebody is. It is real. A doctor helping to save a life, that's real. Money does not create these things. Money is used as a way to exploit, as a way for people to make a living. But money is not used to do anything directly, because you know what? We can do everything without money. Everything that we do every day we can do. We don't require money to do that. But because we believe we need money, then we use money. Then we allow those that are shrewd with money, those that love money, those that can manipulate money, those that know how to control money and manipulate and exploit others, they use money to do that. Money is the linchpin that holds in place poverty, because that's what poverty is. Poverty is lack of money, isn't it? But in fact, it doesn't need to be that at all. There's no direct connection between money and having food on the table. But this is one of the biggest blind spots in humanity. People don't see the fact that you don't need money to prepare a meal. You don't need money to go pick oranges or grow potatoes. Cash doesn't go into the ground. Potato seeds go into the ground, right? Somebody's cooking food for someone or they're taking care of someone. There's not a cash involved in that. We put cash in over on top of that and we say, I'm not going to do this unless you give me cash. But in fact, we can do it. Things can get done without money. Okay, so we're not ready to let go of money as trade. That's fine. But let's understand that we use money to manipulate, we use money to exploit, and those that are not in a position, those that are just as valuable human beings, if they don't have money, they don't count. And they die to the tune of 15,000 souls every single day. And these are children under the age of 5. So when we really take a look at money, we can see how the money system benefits those that are shrewd, those that are privileged, and it literally kills those that are not privileged, those that are not shrewd. Okay, let's look at number 3. What is the solution? See the heart, that means love. Now wait just a minute before you go crazy, before you say, oh, this is stupid. It's not. This is scientific. Love is the solution when we understand what love is. And almost everyone doesn't really understand what love is when we talk about having compassion for each other, when we talk about having respect for each other, when we talk about cooperating, communicating, being honest, being open, opening our hearts, and working with each other in a way that throws away all the power games, that throws away all the manipulation, and just looks at humans one-on-one. Now, love is not without accountability. Love is not gullible. Love values yourself. If you love others through trust, through compassion, through consideration, through kindness, you've got to do that to yourself. Love does not allow the evil, the confused, the sick to rule the earth. That's what's happening now. If you take a look at the condition of the earth, love stops that. Love works together. Love has self-respect, and love will conquer evil. That's an old story, isn't it? That's an obvious one. Okay, so number 3, the solution is love. And don't misunderstand that. Don't let your cynicism, don't let the fact that you haven't been taught about love all your life, don't lose the truth that love is valuable there. We know it is, but we've really been misled. Some people think dogma is love. Some people think that killing is. It's not. It's obviously not. And we should know better. Okay, that's number 3. That's the solution. Now let's look at number 4. Number 4 is, how can we use love to make the transition from the situation that we're in now? Step 1, we saw that situation, to a better world. A world where we're not destroying the planet. A world where we're not killing each other. A world where we're not starving each other. Well, there's 2 pictures here. One on the left is kind of a professional photograph of a community center somewhere in the world. It's a community center. People can go there, work together. It's not an everybody community center. It's not centered on love. We don't know much about this one. But if we do have one that is centered on love, it's a place for nurturing and growing and working together. It's actually a place for education. How can we work together? How can we help each other? How can we cooperate? It's all about that. It's not about condemnation and dogma and punishment. Sure, there's accountability. Of course, we need accountability. We don't let people take advantage of us because we love ourselves. But we do work together in a community center. How many community centers have you seen that are based upon love? I've never seen any. I've seen places where you can play basketball. I've seen places where you can argue with the local administrators, the local politicians. I've seen places where you can have a meeting, and I've seen places where people don't get along very well, but they're not love-centered. This picture on the right is kind of a cartoon. It's kind of silly, but it shows kind of a picture. You know, we're all children inside, right? So we can see that, wait, there's a dream there, isn't there? There's a dream where we can actually work together. Doesn't happen overnight. It happens step by step. Let's look at number 5. How do we implement the solution? This solution of the community center, this solution of working together in community, this idea of being love-centered in our lives as opposed to being money-centered, power-centered, fear-centered, because that's what's been going on, hasn't it? Well, it's accomplished just like any other great accomplishments. Look at the first picture of this SpaceX rocket taking off. Huge accomplishment, major accomplishment. Next one, someone running a marathon. A lot of hard work, a lot of training, a lot of focus. But they do it, and they win the marathon. Top right, young man graduating from university. He didn't do that by ignoring what the goal was. He focused on the goal. He knew what was important. It was his priority. It's what he needed to do. And he worked on it every day, and he studied. And he passed those tests. And he got his degree. So the bottom line, how does step 5 work? How do we implement this idea of love in community centers to take us to more of a love-centered, compassion-centered world as opposed to a cold, heartless, money-centered world where we allow 15,000 children to die needlessly but through our own neglect every day? How do we make that transition? We work together. And the people that are leaders, the people that feel this in their hearts, they step up. They take responsibility and they do what they can. And then we have leadership. And then we have so many people that are followers that don't think things through too carefully. They're not sure. This isn't really their area, but heck, if this is the way we're going, it sounds good, it feels good, because every single human being, they have compassion in their hearts. They have love in their hearts. We're born with that. So it just takes a little bit of initiative. It takes a little bit of focus. It takes a little commitment. It takes some dedication, like all these other great things that happen. And those are the 5 steps. Okay, this next section of the video is about sustainability. Our goal is sustainability. That's why it's a 1-year project. We're trying to eliminate the problems of constant dependent communities, constantly dependent individuals, people that are not able to find a way to be independent and to take care of themselves. You know, there are people that are in food lines. There are people that are always in poverty. And oftentimes you'll see 2 things. You'll see one where the people are idle all day. They have nothing to do because they have no way to apply themselves. They have no workable system where they can be productive and then they can receive benefits in exchange for their productivity. And there's another situation too where people work very, very hard because they're being exploited by the system. They're being exploited by people that don't respect them, people that just want to get rich on the backs. It's a kind of slavery. And this is also very common. So these two problems will cause a situation where people are chronically dependent all their lives. Their parents were that way and they're that way. We see people even waiting in food lines now. And this is not only in some what people call third world or undeveloped countries. This is also quite existent in America, which is supposed to be developed. Well, when it comes to serving humanity, when it comes to serving its citizens, I would say America's in the dark ages. Look at the failure. Look at the tent cities. Look at the people that are in poverty. One of the heartbreaking things is when we see children, and the children are, they're hungry, they're starving, they're malnourished. They're just hoping for a handout. They're just hoping for a donation because that's all they know. They don't know what it's like. They don't see their parents. They don't see their peers. They don't see their people, their neighbors around them, able to support themselves. And oftentimes, you know what happens? What can happen to anyone? You become desperate and you're willing to do anything. And you really believe that there is no way. Well, it's true. The system is against so many people. And there is no way for them to really become independent. But we're not about that. We're about making people strong. We're about making people independent. That's all we want to do. We want to empower people. So they don't need handouts. They don't need donations anymore. They don't have to bow down. They don't have to listen to some gospel before they can have their Thanksgiving dinner once a year. These are people that are able to stand there on their own 2 feet. These are people that are able to take what they've learned, take their hard work, and exchange that for a worthwhile lifestyle. A lifestyle where they can be independent, where they can have self-respect, where they can have dignity. That is what the Everybody Community Center is about. Here's some information about the phases. We're going through 6 different phases. These phases are numbered 0 through 5. Let's go to phase 0 right now. Phase 0 will provide the foundation necessities to begin the project. This is a total of $10,000 US. And what it's for is to create the current fundraiser. It's currently in progress, by the way, and we need to do these 3 things in order to get the project started. We need to relocate the Everybody Community Project from Thailand, where it is currently, to Zero, Uganda, and rent a location there that will be a apartment, like a home office. The second part will provide the first quarter, the first 3 months funds for the soft-hearted Uganda staff, operations, and basic goals implementation. And the third part will provide the first quarter funds for the Everybody Community staff and operations and their goals implementation. So this will handle basically the administrative overhead to get the project started and established in Zero, Uganda, and continue for the first quarter. This will recur again beginning on the second quarter, 3 months later. Moving on to phase 1. Phase 1 of the project will require $15,000, and this will provide the community center. We're going to build a community center on rented land, and this will include the building and its infrastructure and the related services. Now, this will not be able to begin until phase 0 is complete, so we'll need to raise our funds for phase 0 before we move on to phase 1. As soon as we have phase 0 done, we'll start the fundraiser for phase 1 so that we can begin the work on building these facilities. This is the core central facilities for the community. We'll need to rent land suitable for the facilities. We'll need to construct or acquire modest sports facilities. We plan on a small basketball court. We plan on maybe some ping pong games and some other simple games. We'll create a clean and free water source for the community by digging a well and having that well driven by an solar powered pump so people can get water for the community 24/7. So this can be a place where people can get free and clean water. It will have a filtration system. We'll be able to create the Neighbors in Need Center with basic first aid. So the people that are really in trouble, we can show that online so that people can help them out and contribute. People know what's going on with those that are in the desperate situation, very desperate situation in the community. That's a very acute kind of an emergency. We'll also, with the community center, provide a meeting hall and life skills classes so people in the community can meet whenever they need to talk about something, and we'll also handle anything that comes up in the community that we need to talk about there. And we'll also provide life skills classes that have to do with hygiene, health, getting a job, nutrition, um, dealing with employers, or dealing with anything that requires life skills. Maybe there will be remedial courses on math so people can study math if they need to, or to improve their language skills, things like this. There will also be a security infrastructure as part of the community center. That includes just some cameras and a little bit of surveillance hardware, and maybe a little bit of services just for people to keep watch and make sure that the community center is always safe. We want it to be a safe place to go to all the time. Moving on to phase two. Phase two is a significant one. It's agriculture and Feed the Hungry project. The total amount required is $15,000. And of course, work will need to begin after the fundraising is done and after phase one is successfully complete. During this phase, we will build a chicken farm. This chicken farm will feed the children at the orphanage, help to feed the children at the orphanage, and help others to earn money. And we can also sell the chickens or sell the eggs to other people there in order to create some income. We'll also build a greenhouse, and we'll be working on the greenhouse to find the best vegetables to grow for that climate and for that area, what's in demand. So it could be a money-making operation, but it could also be used to feed the students in the school or feed the orphans in the orphanage. We're also looking at the possibility of having goats or other livestock there, whatever makes sense, whatever is practical. So this will also be kind of an experiment about what's going to be the most practical thing to do in this community, in this climate, at this time, and for the members of the community center to pitch in, help out, and also receive something in return for that. And then finally, we'll provide a simple kitchen at the community center to feed members and to sell to others. So maybe we'll make some of the local foods at our small kitchen. We'll have maybe kind of a small diner or a small cafe where people can come and relax and learn about the community or talk, socialize with each other, and then also they could order a meal. And depending upon if they're working with the community and volunteering their time and energy, which there will be a record of that, a computerized record, then they can do that for free. And if people don't want to do that or haven't done that, then they can also pay for some foods or beverages at a low, reasonable price. Okay, phase three. Phase three is about sanitation, communications, and a jobs system. The total cost is $12,000. Of course, the status, the work will begin after phase two is complete and after the fundraiser is well underway for phase three. The first step we'll do is create a sanitation team from the local volunteers, local community, and provide partial funds for sanitizing and improving toilets. So there we have 2,000 members that will be part of this community center, and maybe there are about 500 toilets among them. Some of them are in horrible condition, and so we want to help with sanitation. And so we have a project where people can volunteer, and we can also help them to some degree with some funds. But this will be a cooperative thing. The second thing we'll do is we'll provide free and unlimited Wi-Fi at the community center. And we'll also provide some devices like some desktop computers, some laptop computers, some tablet computers, and some smartphones that people can use at the location, or maybe some people will be able to volunteer enough to the degree where we will give them, in exchange for their contribution, we'll give them one of these items so that they can take it home, use it at home. But we will provide unlimited Wi-Fi there, so people will be able to come and use Wi-Fi at the community center at no charge, so that people can stay more connected, communicate with each other, communicate with employers, communicate with customers, communicate with friends, because the communication hub is extremely important for people to have a viable life. And then finally provide job training, job search, and job leads. So the community center will be upgraded so that it will have a system where people can search for jobs, people can meet employers there, employers can go there and talk with people that may be qualified, and give a little bit of information and answer questions, and look for qualified candidates. So one of the key functions of the community center is to provide a way for people to get job training, learn how to do a job, or meet someone there who can help them with the job training. Not all job training will occur at the community center, just some. It will also help people to find jobs, to interact with employers, and get information about that. And people can also, maybe they'll end up getting a job through the help of the community center, because this is such a significant part of life, being able to be productive and also earn a living. Okay, phase 4, this is about emergency projects. So now your community center is mature enough through several months, and it's ready to also provide some emergency help to some local residents. This is a total cost of $12,000. Of course, this work will begin after phase 3 is complete and after the funding for phase 4 is well underway. So what this emergency project will do, it'll provide life necessities for the orphans that haven't been really haven't had a stable way to do that. And phase 4 sets up a stable way so that the orphanage can get constant help from the community center. The community center will be a place where income is generated through its projects to always help the orphans. Also, what will happen is we'll be educating the poor children who can't afford school tuition, and also educating the orphans just with the basics, reading, writing, arithmetic, things like that, which they're already doing. And funds are very scarce. So we hope the community center will be built up to a certain level that it will also be able to help out, paying the staff at the school, and help to feed the kids. Implementing an online directory project that will provide income through selling advertising. So this is an online directory that includes so many levels of connecting people. For example, it's not only advertising. If you have a restaurant, you can you can purchase an ad and pay a little bit every month, and then you'll have your menu there, and you'll have your promotions and specials and things like that, so that all your customers can find you and can know that you're open, and that you're what food you have available at your restaurant. But it's also for connecting groups. So if there's a group of people that like to play basketball, they want to meet every Saturday at 6 o'clock at the community center, they can connect with each other. They can communicate through this platform. Also, other organizations that are providing services for the community all could be listed there. If you want to sell something, maybe you have a motorcycle that's used you want to sell, this is a place, this is a platform for that. So this online directory is a significant way to connect people on all different levels. And also finally, the part of the emergency projects is to provide basic transport to and from the community center for the disabled. Some people, even though we've located the community center very close to town, um, very close to the people that are members, um, maybe some people are disabled and they'll have trouble getting there. So we'll provide some basic transportation for that purpose. Okay, finally, phase 5. Phase 5, when the community center and its systems has reached a level of stability and the community center is working and the community center is really benefiting the community. It will have been on rented land for months and months. And this is not a stable thing because sometimes the landowner needs to make a change. Maybe they need that land. They want to put a farm there, or maybe they want to sell it and put a buildings on there or something like that. And so all of our work, having established the community center for so many months, will be in a panic and we'll need funds in order to buy some land. So we want to think about this ahead of time so that once we really reach stability and everything's working very smoothly, we would like to raise money. About $20,000 is what it will take to buy a piece of land nearby that will be stable, that we won't have to pay monthly rent, and we also will be able to do everything on that community, everything for the community, everything on that land in a stable way, and know that we control the ownership to the land. So we're going to relocate all the services and facilities to the own land. The community center that we build on rented land, we'll be able to move it. Everything that we create except for the well, the water well, we'll be able to move. We'll leave the water well at the old location and let those people use that as they desire. But we're going to move everything that we have, including the greenhouse, the chicken farm, whatever we create, will be moved to the new land. And so there will be maybe a small expense in that, in addition to the purchase of the land. And we'll put everything together in one place, so it'll be kind of like a compound. We'll consolidate the school, the orphanage, the community center, the agricultural businesses, all to one piece of land. So everything's nearby each other, everything's convenient to reach. It stops our rent expenses. We'll no longer have to pay rent. And it also makes the community center free from any changes that the landowner may have in their mind. Now, of these 5 phases, everything is going to happen based upon completing one phase successfully, getting one phase working well enough before we're ready to move on to the next phase. So we'll take this step by step, and as things go smoothly, as we're running things well, we should be able to get more support from interested people around the world to say, okay, they got their phase 1 okay, they got their phase 2, they got these things completed okay, and it looks like we're on a good trend, and things are going well, so let's go ahead and raise the money for the next phase. So we're just raising the money step by step, and we're proving the process. This is a pilot project, and so it's working in phases. And once we are done with phase 5, then some of us will move on to another location nearby and create the same community center there with the same phases, while checking back at the beginning every day, later on a couple times a week, until the initial community center in Ziru, Uganda is stable, can run by itself, has trained staff that can handle all the things that will come up. And we will also train new staff at the new location so that they can be independent. And then we will replicate this process. This is the idea. Okay, that's it. So thanks so much for watching. I know it's it's a long video. Wanted to be able to give you an overview of everything pretty much that we're doing on this website and what we're doing with this project. There are some other parts of the website. For example, the updates. You'll see an icon of a camera, and that will be updated every Wednesday and every Sunday at least. And if you'd like to subscribe, if you'd like to get updates in your email, go to the Join Us button and select subscribe to updates, and you'll be able to get updates about what's going on. So thanks so much for watching, and all the best to you. Have a wonderful day.